What I'm talking about here today is a Glock, and this is the Gen 5 Glock 19 MOS. Three, 5, 7, and 10 yards. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Grant McLean. Thank you guys again for joining us today. Got an awesome review lined up for you today. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe on YouTube. It does help out our channel immensely, and I want to thank my friends over at Northwest Armory for providing us with the guns for the reviews, so that way we can get out to the range and kind of dissect these guns and get that info over to you. That way you can make a well-educated decision on whether or not this gun is going to be a good fit for you, okay? So go to nwarmory.com if you need to buy a firearm. They will ship to your local FFL. If you pop into the store locally, tell them that Grant over the Concealed Carry channel sent you in. And also make sure that you say hi to Khaki. He's a good doggy, so treat him well. Anyways, today I'm super excited to show you guys this. I've had a lot of trigger time with this gun, so I'm really excited to kind of give you my feedback on this. What I'm talking about here today is a Glock, and this is the Gen 5 Glock 19 MOS, okay? So let's go ahead and pop this baby open. Now, when you open this box, this thing is like packed. Like you have to press down the case. There's so much stuff inside of here. So let's start at the top. What we have here is we have your Glock manual. We're going to talk about this here in a second. This is the Glock MOS optic plates. So we're going to talk about those when we talk more about the slide and the sights. Got your Gen 5 Glock 19. Let's remove that safety flag. Okay, we have the back straps. I'll show you how those work as well. We have our lock. We have two more 15 round magazines. Little cleaning rod and brush. This is kind of nice, little speed loader. And then we'll have a little envelope here with some other pieces of information and stuff like that, talking about like the NRA and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what you're gonna find in the box with your Glock. Okay, so a little bit about this Glock here. This is the 5th generation of the Glock 19. It is chambered in 9mm. It's a 15 round magazine plus one in the chamber. These are considered to be a compact. This is probably one of the most popular carry pistols ever, okay? Metal slide, polymer frame. If you're not familiar with that, it's been the same forever. All right, so what we have here is a 4-inch barrel. As far as the length goes, overall length is 7.25 inches, give or take a little. Height is a total of 5 inches tall, give or take a little. And the width is 1.35 inches, give or take a little, okay? Anyways, yeah, this is, to me, the Glock 19 platform and the Glock 17. A lot of the Glocks, in my opinion, are, in that particular caliber, going to be like the F150 of kind of the gun world, okay? It's the standard into which guns are measured by. They've been very successful as far as selling these guns. A lot of people buy them. A lot of people modify them. So with that being said, if you're looking for a gun that you want to put your own personal touches on, this is a fantastic platform to do it, because the aftermarket parts availability is insane. You can do quite literally everything to this, okay? Now, with that being said, like I said, it's like the F-150. People, you know, love it. They hate it. People who love it typically have modified their F-150 to their taste. They've changed out the bumpers, they've changed out the suspension, the wheels, the tires, put a supercharger on it, so on and so forth. Okay, I kind of find that with this platform as well, is people who really like their Glock 19s have probably changed every single thing on the gun. Okay, so with that being said, out of the box, just like I'm showing you here, it's your stock F-150. It's going to turn on, get the job done. It's going to do more than some of the smaller pickups are out there, and this is going to do more than some of the less expensive pistols out there, in my opinion. But nonetheless, there's still some things you want to change out to cater to your style. Okay, so those are the specs on it. It's got a MSRP of $699.99, so let's call it $700 in my opinion. Not bad. So let's start at the top here. Let's start with the sights. Okay, so from the factory, these come with the U-shaped rear sight and the dot front sight. Okay, now I'm not a huge fan of the U with the dot, not because it's easy to pick up. It's actually really easy for me to pick up this front sight and put it in the center of the U, but I feel that the U, being that it's bigger than sights that I normally like, that it leaves a lot of room for error. So your front sight might be in that U, however, your groupings could be kind of like all over the place, all right? And so when we take these to the range, you know, I've had quite a bit of trigger time behind this, but nonetheless, I'm gonna still do my 5 shots in 2 seconds at 3, 5, 7, and 10 yards, okay? So 5 shots, 2 seconds, and the grouping isn't bad, but it's not like fantastic by any means either, okay? So the dot is in the U, however, you know, when you're shooting out at 10 yards, that U leaves a huge amount of room for error. When you're shooting at like 3 yards and 5 yards, you can see those groups, they can get nice and tight, you know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting in that way, and I think that one of the most popular things people swap out on their Glock right from the factory is they're going to do some sort of high-vis sight or a tritium sight or at least a metal sight, because these sights are actually made out of plastic. Okay, so that's kind of the thing that I feel a lot of people will immediately upgrade on their Glocks. Okay, so there's a lot of different sight options out on the market, and these sights are fairly easy to swap out, which is cool. Let's go into the slide. Now with the Gen 5, especially the MOS model, it has the front serrations, which I really like, and in the front here, they've kind of smoothed out the front of that slide. It's not as boxy as it used to be on previous generations, which I like. That was one of the things that about Glocks has never been my favorite, is it just wasn't very sexy. I felt that it needed a little bit of curves to kind of just complete the gun, and they did a great job with that, okay? As far as the optic cut on top, you have their modular optic system, the MOS right there, okay? And what that is, and you're gonna get this with it, is you have all these different plates, and those different plates you're going to use with different optics. So if you want to use a Leupold Delta Point, you want to use an RMR, your Holosun, so on and so forth, you're going to choose the appropriate plate. You're going to take this one off, put that one on, put your optic on, and voila, you're good to go, okay? Now, are you going to be able to co-witness with the sights and the height that they are? No, okay? So keep that in mind. If you're going to be swapping out the sights and then you're going to do the MOS system, keep that in mind. Or you're going to do a red dot system, just keep in mind you might have to get taller sights. No big deal, okay? All right, so as far as that goes, I do really like the slide. The slide weight is not, in my opinion, overly heavy or anything like that. Of course, you know, there's a billion aftermarket, you know, accessories you can get for this. So if you did want to get a lighter slide, you absolutely could. Same as like barrels, you can get threaded barrels and so on and so forth with compensators. I mean, just sky's the limit, you know. Even the back little plate here, you can swap out and put your favorite little Deadpool or Punisher symbol on there. Who knows, right? So you have all that stuff, okay? Now, the slide lock lever here is ambidextrous, as you can see. This is something that I would have, if I wasn't to keep this in absolute stock form, and I've intentionally done that, I would swap this out. I use this gun for when people come with me and they want to learn how to shoot. I'm going to start them off at a 22, and then I'm going to graduate them up. I'm not going to put one of my, like Zev OZ9s or something like that, or a Legion in their hand right away. I want them to get kind of used to this, because with this platform, the balance is, in my opinion, it's not as balanced as some of these other guns. So I feel that if they can manage this in the form and fashion it is, now they have an understanding of what they're paying for when they're looking at higher end guns, or what they're going to be looking for in a gun that they want to purchase. They may go, oh my gosh, I really want something that is a metal frame and a metal slide. I want something full metal, like a 226, 229, whatever it might be. So I keep this intentionally just as you'd buy it right out of the box, okay? For the slide lock lever there, I would like to see it a little bit bigger. There's a ton of aftermarket companies that make those. For the mag release here, it is set up on the left side of the gun. You can absolutely move it over to the right side if you're left-handed. It doesn't stick out very far, and it kind of looks copy-paste-ish. There's not really anything else on the gun that looks like this. So it's not a very stylish, complementary thing to the gun. It's functional, though. I do find that with my hands, at least, and I have a medium-sized hand, so I find that I'll have to change my grip to be able to manipulate this really well, okay? So I'm going from here, and you can see just the tip of my thumb is just on it, but it's not enough, in my opinion, to really get that pressed down. So I'll usually move my hand just a little bit more to get that in there, okay? And then, so I would say, after some time of practicing that, you should be fine. But that is one thing that I noticed right out of the box. Now, on the back strap, this is cool. So you're going to get 4 back straps with this. This thing comes with a ton of stuff. And the way that those back straps go on is you have a little pin here, and on this you have a little rod, and you're just simply going to push that pin out, okay? So you're going to choose the type of back strap that you want. This one here has the extended beaver tail, and that's simply just going to slip right on like so, okay? And then you're going to take the longer rod that's provided on the little clip here, and you're going to insert that in, and that's what's going to hold it in, okay? So if you want the extended beaver tail, if you're afraid of slide bite, all right, that's a good option. All right, if you want one that is not extended, but you still want to go from the smaller factory grip to something a little bit more medium size, you can use that one, and it's just going to, it's not going to change the beaver tail as you can see there, but it's just going to add a little bit of meat to it, okay? And that'll go on the same way. So pretty simple as far as that goes, which is nice because, I would say the competitor to this gun would most likely be the P320. Sig Sauer P320 would be probably, the one that people would compare this to the most, and that is not something that you can change out on the P320. However, you can change out the entire grip module, okay? Now, with that being said, let's talk about the grip module here, or the grip frame, actually, on a Glock, because I know that this has been something that is the make or break between one or the other brands, okay? So, on a Glock, this entire thing, okay, this full frame, you can obviously take out the trigger, is your serialized part, all right? So when people are looking to get their grip stippled or modified in some way, and they're going to send it off, they are technically sending off their firearm, okay? Some people, I mean, this is, keep in mind, this is how it's been. It's not like the P320 has been in existence that long. So this is something that people have done a lot. So don't worry about it if you got to do it, you know what I mean? But just something to keep in mind, you know what I mean? You can only, of course, do so much with this grip, you know, before you've kind of capped out the potential on it. So with that being said, that could be a deciding factor. On a SIG, it's the firing control unit, or the FCU, okay? So with that, the part that's actually serialized is, you can see the serial number is actually on this piece of metal. It's the firing control unit. So with that being said, guys, no, there are no back straps that you can just swap out on a SIG. You would swap, but you can swap out the entire grip on a SIG, okay? So for those of you who are considering both, you know, one or the other, okay, that is a factor to consider, what I just told you right there, okay? So on the grip on the Gen 5, they've shaved off the finger grooves on those ones, and also there is a small magwell on these now, which is cool. There's still a plug in the back, which you can get a plug for it, but essentially this magwell is to help make reloads easier, okay? Now the other thing, since we're talking about the grip and the magwell, in the new magazines they have added a orange follower to that, so that way if the mag is empty, you can see it is empty, okay? So a couple things that they've, you know, done a good job about adding to this pistol. The finger grooves, to me, were not a big thing, but nonetheless, people were customizing them that way. Now it just comes from the factory that way. The trigger on this has their Glock safety on the trigger there. It's not a bad trigger from the factory. I would, you know, say if you felt this for the very first time in a store and you're used to like a 1911 trigger, 2011 trigger, something, you know, like a CZ trigger, then you'd go, wow, this thing is garbage, okay? And I can't blame you. But after you've put a lot of rounds through it, overall, the safety works as advertised. It's fantastic, okay? And it does have a lot of take up to it. It's a little squishy, and, you know, but the reset isn't terrible. It's not terrible in my opinion. So that's kind of the thing, is people will swap out the trigger. They'll do flat face triggers. Tons of different triggers out there. You know what I mean? You kind of do whatever it is you want. But in my opinion, it's functioned well. I've outshot quite a few people with this gun as is, and it drives them insane because, you know, they're going to have competition, you know, guns and stuff like that. And I whip out this, you know, off the factory line Glock 19, nothing special about it. And I'm sure that, you know, if we were going out further than 10 yards, you know, or so, and it was fast, they would just smoke me. But in the shooting that we do in the range, and, you know, the games we're playing and so on and so forth with little targets, I've outshot people, and I think it's pretty cool. So anyways, let's talk about the ergonomics on this. It is still pretty boxy, as you can see. If you're going to conceal carry this, it may print a little, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're over there shopping for your concealed carry clothing and your holster. It's still not that small. Ergonomics, not bad. I mean, as far as holding it, the only thing I would say is, yeah, you'll probably upgrade a few things: the slide lock lever release, the mag release. Other than that, you know, it's all about just the size for concealing it, if that's what you're going to be doing, okay? But other than that, ergonomics, no big deal. The recoil. So this gun is pretty unbalanced as far as that goes. I know that there's a lot of people that will put in a solid steel or tungsten guide rod to help give it a little bit of weight in the front, or light to give it some weight in the front. Like I said earlier, you know, I have people shoot this gun when they're learning how to shoot at the range, and I like it because it does have more recoil than any of my other 9mm. This has the most recoil out of all of them. However, if you can learn to manage this, you know what I mean, with any other gun you buy, or even if you buy this and then you upgrade, you know, some of the components I was just talking about, it's going to be even more pleasurable, okay? So that's kind of the thing, is it's not terrible, but it's not great, and you're probably going to upgrade it anyways, okay? Next thing I want to talk about is accessories. I've kind of touched along this on the way. There is everything under the moon for a Glock 19 that you want to do. I'm not even going to go into the specifics. I mean, literally, you can take this entire thing and replace every single part of it. You know, there's a lot of really good companies out there that are making comps. Some of the big names you'll find out there are going to be Agency, Zev, Salient, Parker Mountain, Machine, so on and so forth. I mean, those are just a couple that popped to the top of my head, but you know, fantastic if you want to deck out a gun personalized to you. Okay. As far as fit and finish goes, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I would expect, you know, and I've seen this with some guns where the optic plate and the serrations in the slide, they don't match up well. This one matches up great. The finish on these, they do a better finish on these than they did on the previous models. I mean, I've seen some of the previous models where just from a small amount of holster wear, or even the table at the range, they've actually started already wearing through some of the coating, you know, and you'll get a little bit of surface rust because of that. So this coating's fantastic. The machining looks really good. On the Gen 5, they took away the finger grooves. Those weren't a problem for me. I didn't care about it. Other than that, it's fit and finish is decent. It's good. Okay. So basically, in conclusion, you guys, like I said earlier, it's the F150. You know what I mean? It's definitely affordable for most people. It's customizable to the moon. It's reliable. Out of the box, is it perfection? Well, it's perfect for building onto. Maybe it's perfect for $700. Are you going to beat it? Perfect for that, in respect. But other than that, you guys, I would say if you are looking for a customizable gun, good reliability, you know, all the things that I mentioned earlier, then this is probably going to be a great purchase for you. Okay. All right, you guys. Again, thank you guys for joining the channel today for this awesome unboxing and review. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. That helps out the channel immensely. I'm super excited to show you our next review. That's going to be awesome. So make sure you do hit the subscribe so you get notified of when we have that come out. And also, if you need any guns shipped to your local FFL, if you're having trouble getting them, go to nwarmory.com. Order up your guns. They will ship them to your local FFL. People at Northwest Armory are amazing, and they definitely help out the channel, making sure that we can get you the products we need to get you the honest reviews that we can. All right? Okay, you guys, thanks so much for joining. We'll see you next time. You know, it's kind of up there in price when you start getting accessory. I'm sorry. We'll just that thing out of here. Okay. That I will have to change my grip placement to get a really positive what do you call it? All right. So this is one thing that I know has been a deciding factor for people when they are looking between the two, a